My name is Jaeweon. Family name is Cho. So I'm the faculty member of a UNIST University. So sponsored by, I've been operating a Center Science Warden. So, with more than 20 artists and humanity persons to solve our social problem differently from I've been using with engineering and science because I'm environmental engineer, but I have difficulties to solve all the problem, even engineering problems. So I asked our couple of artists to join us to work together. That's the science world. But unfortunately, we end a couple of funds from our government, but we're still alive. So we are waiting for another chance. So and then we use a different approach, even in a scientific way, but we use artistic way. That's why we use a couple of different signs we developed and proposed in a platform. So one of those is the thesis standard money, and with the science we use the time, a different time. I mean the concept to communicate with the public from side of artists and scientists. So that's the artistic canvas, the project. So with the communication in education, so we use different language. So we try to bring different language into our communication to form new order of our society. That's the purpose of our project.
Can you speak more about how standard thesis money would enable bigger equality and access for everybody?
Okay, so we start from toilet. Okay, so as we know, we flush our waste, and we would like to forget. Even if we agree, so toilet and sewer wastewater treatment system is a great invention, but we have a problem because we use right now centralized wastewater facilities. So even if we treat it, we still discharge a lot of nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus into river and the sea, and resulting in red tide and green algae bloom and a lot of problems. So then we would like to adopt like a blockchain, decentralized sewer systems. So then we can save the water, and we convert all the waste into energy in return to be used for our shower and kitchen. So many different purposes. So Julia mentions NIMBY, the phenomenon of NIMBY, but we can make a new different concept with a secondary NIMBY, so which means nearby. Okay, so nearby instead of not nearby in our backyard. So we can have a community to use our waste and to be transformed into energy, and then we use energy. Then we feel we are all member and community member and family, and then those system, Beevi system I call, but whatever that name is. So we have a value, and the value I would like to make a new unit of account, new standard. Right now we have a value of money itself, the currency itself. But if we bring the new standard, we can change our personality and attitude and philosophy toward the society. So so we have a new standard out of energy produced from the pool a day, and then we can measure other value based on this value. So then in the market, for example, so if you go to the market to buy ice cream and the cabbage, whatever that is, so we measure a certain price as based on cash and other value of the money. But instead of that, we can think of this value as opposed to our energy produced by my pool, and then whole world can change this one. Even if we adopt to solve a decentralized currency system, we use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency, still we use the exactly same unit of value and standard, right? But we can change. So parallel at the market, then we can bring new order for society. That's the physics standard of money, the concept I would like to bring. So we have a platform, but nobody interested nobody seems no interest at all, but we're still operating this way. That's the starting point. So the starting point for me to build a laboratory where we come together to discuss everyday base. So that's the science cabin. So we build those buildings as our living laboratory inside the campus. In it, we have a toilet, we have a studio, we have rooms, we have kitchens, and we have a lab as well. And then inside in it, sometimes the students drop by and artists drop by, and we talk a lot of things around us. And then the artist feels this is something we can make artistic work through communications. And the scientists show up. I believe certain scientific the principles to be adopted in this situation, and that's it. And then we try to make a new concept, okay? New concept, and show up, never been before in this world. That's my way. So generally, not totally, but generally, some scientists developed a very good scientific result, and so artists show up to convert those results into artistic work, artistic play, artistic certain things. But we adopt the different ways. So we come together and try to make a new concept. So it's more likely pragmatic way. So we have an old one, then we feel together existing problem, and then we try to make a new concept to solve all the problem. That's my suggested and proposed way for us to come together.
What do you think that theater and science can give to each other? What's the interchange here?
Okay, so actually we try to make the VR play in Korea. So then I didn't send you, but we have one. So and then exactly same, similar to what I talked about our project. So we drop by certain the group of play. So we asked them to join us to make one play. So then we have a technology. They have players and actors and actor, and then we scratch from the first to make a play, and then we discuss how we actually convey this one, move into the play. So we use the technology. So that's the one idea. So we built right at the play stage, the camera. We place the camera right at the sound, and we actually recorded every movement of a player. And then, so using VR, the virtual reality technology, so we deliver this play into into the audience. So I'm proposing with this project is that, so our system of toilet and energy systems is, as you mentioned, reality right now we are facing with against the climate change and other things. So I feel that this is better ways. So we ask the audience to imagine in the future, like Julia, 2030s. So what if we have a certain crisis and then we are living in a certain apartment or apartment village complex. So having these types of beds, Julia mentions, biological anaerobic digestion chamber to convert all the feces into energy. How they feel, first one, I would like to ask them. And then how we can benefit out of this one. That's I propose to ask audience into part of this play.
It's way more likely for this to happen and for people to be open-minded if we start this dialogue now. Because if we started, you started with, with your group Science Walden, you started basically creating this on your campus. You have the Walden Cabin, which acts as, some kind of an experiment hub, right? And, then we're creating a play about it. So we're talking in New York about it on the stage. We approach it from sort of like an artistic perspective, but then we open up the conversation and, you do your presentation. We have a panel that sort of like discusses all of these things. So it feels like people might come for the shock value, but they might actually take away something quite deep and might walk away with knowledge and an idea and awareness that, feces are not just something you wash away and are ashamed of, right? Mm-hmm. It's a thing that we all think that our poo is the best kept secret, and at the same time, there's this paradox that we know that other creatures also, create feces, but we all always pretend like, oh, not me. Mm-hmm. So it kind of evens out the playing field and, shifts the perspective of seeing it as a value and actually quite an equitable value. And so, if something happens in 2030, these people, which are, New York intelligentsia, artists, innovators, might be like, okay, we know who to go to. Jaeweon Cho. Am I saying your name right?
Yes.
Jaeweon?
Yeah, that's
Jaeweon?
correct.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So, and then all of a sudden it can become reality because this is how the communication spreads, or this is how the idea spread. Can you tell us more actually about what all sustainability problems we would avoid if we had our own sort of like decentralized sewage? You already went into it, blue algae, but if you can speak a little bit more to it.
Okay, so when we flush our waste with the water into the sewer systems, so everyone knows it. So we have to use a very great amount of water, and then treat those. Then we have to use energy and the chemical, a lot of chemicals, and even we have to disinfect those prior to discharging into adjacent to catchment of water. So then, why we all use this one? So think about those one, because we are doing right now. So there is no other options to exchange or switch all of the things right now. And then I propose this one, and other persons, I believe that they propose a lot of different times. But why people do not accept these options, not interested in at all, is they are too much familiar with these present systems. They don't feel we don't have to use it, we don't have to switch this one into other systems. So quite frankly, I proposed this one in Korea and other countries as well, including Middle East and African countries. So they very interested in this one. They are very shocked, and sometimes they are happy, but they don't accept it. They didn't accept it. Why? Why? Because we have a flushing system, very fantastic right now. Is a flushing toilet system right now. Okay, they don't want to change because they already have a very good one. But so I believe the approach should be different. So if we actually convince and persuade them this is not good, so the remaining, even after wastewater treatment and contaminated the sea and the river and a lot of these things, and we have to use a great amount of water, we have to use chemicals, we have to use the energy. So that's good, but we can save the climate change and blah blah. But this is good, still good. But I feel they don't care right now, and I'd like to propose different options. By doing this one, we can communicate with water. I would like to propose. We can communicate energy. We can communicate our even waste. We can communicate with our money and currency by taking these options. What we mean by this one is, so we don't use right now any languageable water to be used for our communication. We use it, but never communicated with water. We do not feel any the sense out of our water to be used in the morning when showering. We don't use any languageable energy for our communications, even if we use every time, every second, every moment. But by taking this one, we feel water, we feel energy, because our energy to be used in the morning is directly produced from yesterday's my poop, and the poop produced by neighbor, myself, and my family. And then we can communicate with water and energy. So that's my proposal, and where I can propose audience, so to give them some kind of questions, how we actually promote this communication with water, energy, and the currency and waste. So that's my proposal.
How much would it cost to become, sewage self-sufficient, and basically order one of these anaerobic systems and a Beevi toilet?
Okay, so we have analysis of BC, meaning that benefit to cost. Okay, so the sewage system right now, centralized systems, so we need to steer the cost. But instead of those centralized wastewater and sewer systems, so by taking this the Beevi systems, then we see the benefit to cost is about 0.8, which means if you invest a certain amount of money, let's say 100, then you can benefit out of it 80. But conventional wastewater treatment plant give us best, the BC ratio is about exactly same 0.8. But this is commercial the public facilities and the government and the city administration actually promote this one, even with the BC the less than 1. This is not economic the issue right now.